Welcome back to the NFT Talks podcast. I'm your host, Sean, and we're back with another episode. As promised, I am going to keep them coming thick and fast over the Christmas period. This episode was actually recorded back in July, so sorry for the delay, but it is relevant. I interviewed some Bored Yacht community members, and they talk about their journey, why they invested, how they got into it, where they think their project's going to go, and there's a few predictions that was actually said in this podcast is actually happening. So it's special that you got some people that actually believed in what was going to happen, and it's actually happening now. First of all, I have the first guest, which is Jason Ape. He's from the BORIngshow podcast, where he interviews different ape members. I've got Boredbecky. Her name was Ashley originally, and she's also, since this show, she's actually co-found another NFT project called the Fame Lady Squad, which is very interesting. You'll see a quote about she's actually invested in that project and now she's actually running it. So that's also special. And then we also have Kevin, that's been in the NFT community from early, and he's been an ape and he's very present within the community. And so this one's very special. If you're into the apes, you want to learn about the ape, you want to see why people are collecting these apes, this is definitely one to listen to. So share, subscribe, and let's help build this community. Okay, so today's episode, I have 3 Bored Apes in the building. They come in numbers. Bored Ape Yacht Club is an NFT collection that is, I say, one of the most popular collections in the scene at the moment. And it's all about community. I think they've got around 12,500 people in their Discord, which is amazing. So I'm happy to have you guys on. What I want you guys to do is introduce yourself and your ape. Just give a short introduction about your background, and we can start with Ashley. So how you doing, Ashley?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks so much for having us here. My name's Ashley. I'm from Vancouver, Canada, 36. NFTs are pretty new to me. My primary ape, her name is Boredbecky. She's my avatar. She's my character. I do own 3 other apes. They don't have names. Or actually, one has a name. His name's Steve, but the other 2, no. Yeah.
When you say background-wise, just a bit about yourself, because I'm always interested to understand what type, is there a certain type of person that collects? I'm sure you're going to come from different backgrounds, so tell me about your...
Yeah, so I'm a realtor, so I have my own little business here, and I'm also involved in like governance and leadership with my association, and we've been talking about the blockchain and smart contracts for a long time, and how it may change the course of business models, business practices. So I was curious about NFTs kind of right off the bat. I heard a little bit about them floating around on places like Clubhouse, etc. And I'm a Gary Vee fan, so I know there's a few of us that started with Gary Vee. So he started talking about NFTs. It resonated with me because I've been thinking about this type of technology for a little while now, and I got into VeeFriends and soon found the apes, fell in love with them, and I aped in.
All right, that's perfect. So thank you, Ashley. I want to move on to Jason. Just found out his name was Jason. I actually was calling him Dan before the podcast started because that's the name of the kennel, the kennel ape. So Jason, introduce yourself. Let us know a bit about you.
Yeah, what's up, guys? How you doing? My name is Jason. I host The Boring Show, which is an ape-to-ape avatar project. And besides that, I've been in crypto since 2016. So this is something I'm very familiar with. I've been teaching people about NFTs probably since like 2018.
Wow.
So it's been kind of cool just to see so many people jump into this. And my background is design. So like, this is like the perfect reality that I've been looking for my whole life. Like one of my goals last year was to hang a piece of art in a gallery. And now I can do that in metaverses and sell my art. And not only that, but like encourage new artists to come on board and to learn about this stuff. So that's been really my most enjoyable part of this NFT experience, is like connecting with all my art friends from art school and going like, yo, I know you're an amazing artist. Let's teach you about NFTs. And I've set up a lot of people with MetaMask for the first time, taught them how to, start their journey. And some of them have made more money than I have in selling. And it's beautiful to see your friends succeeding like that. And then besides that, I started that Ape to Ape talk show because I wanted the Bored Apes to have a place to come on and laugh and play. And the NFT world is intense and it moves quickly. And we need a community place where we can laugh and joke and kind of BS together. And Ashley came on with Boredbecky recently. So I'm editing that episode, have that up soon enough.
What's your ape's name?
Jason the Ape. So
okay.
I minted 4 apes on the day of the minting. And purely because like I'm always on Twitter and I saw all my friends changing to these really cool ape avatars. And I was like, yo, I want one of those. And so I minted 4. I called up my best friend. I was like, do this, mint some of these. So he minted 2. But I'll tell you, my biggest regret is I don't have all of them because I wanted to really focus on growing the community right off the bat. That's just what I do.
Yeah.
So I gave one to my best friend. He's into NFTs. We've been best friends since we were babies. So I just gave him one because I want him to be part of it. And then I traded 2 to people for metaverse lands. So I figured, why not, get them into the game as well. And Jason the Ape is my actual like inner ape coming out of me. It felt like right away. And so Dan Brown is my dog that they gave me, also my co-host on The Boring Show.
Okay. All right. So you've fully incorporated everything in regards to your apes and what you're doing with the show. And I love that. And lastly, let me introduce Kevin. How you doing, man?
What's up, everybody? Good. It's nice to hear from y'all. I'm also from Canada, Winnipeg. And I also have a background in design and art. So yeah, just like him, I really enjoyed kind of the community that it fostered off the bat. Like I didn't get a chance to mint them when they first dropped, but I remember staring at them like
I think we lost you a little bit there.
Can you hear me?
Yes, repeat again. Just we kind of lost you halfway through that. So if you go at it again.
I was just saying I missed out on minting them when they dropped on the website. Like that night at like 3 a.m. I was looking at the screen like, should I mint a couple of these? They look pretty cool. Maybe I'll wait till tomorrow. And then they all sold out basically. So immediately I was like, oh man, I missed out. And then throughout the day, I was like, nah, I have to buy some of these right now. So I bought like 4 of them for like 0.2 each. And I was just like looking through all of them, just like everybody does. Like when you first jump into an NFT collectible project, you're just like, wow, this one looks cool. This one kind of resonates with me. This one has a cool trait, right? And sooner or later, you just have to buy one. And so my ape name and my Instagram handle is 93 Nito. That's when I was born. So my last name is Janito, so I just replaced it with 93. So I searched up on Rarity Tools 9930 for the ape, and it had a spinner hat, had the zombie eyes, and it had like a smoker's jacket. And I was like, okay, this is the one that I use basically right now. Is my main ape. I have 2 more left over from selling a couple, probably for way too low, too early. But like you guys are saying, I wanted to get a couple people involved. One of the persons that reached out to me about one of my apes to buy them back when they were like, I think 0.5 or 0.6 or something like that. I didn't want to sell any of them, but I had 6. And this guy was like, hey, I really, really resonate with this one ape that you have. And I was looking at it, I was like, okay, that's the one that I could probably let go out of the 6. So I was like, all right, sure, you can have it. And then the next day he was on Twitter Spaces talking about how the clothing that the ape was wearing just really resonated with his father who passed away years ago. Wow. And I was like, wow, you didn't even tell me that. And I just sold it to him for like 0.5 or whatever. And he ended up starting the book club on Twitter Spaces as well. So like just random things like that, like and connecting with everybody, like you two on the show, Ashley as well. Like awesome characters, a lot of people that can just instantly resonate with something, knowing that we have this understanding of why this JPEG of an ape is valuable. So
yeah, that's what we're gonna get into. Is like what I seem to see with you ape collectors is that you really get involved, like you with everything you do in regards to. And I spot Ashley, like your page is full of obviously Becky, and obviously you've got the show, Jason, and obviously you're collecting the merchandise and so on. So can you? I want you to explain, what is it like? Why do you collect? why would you buy a JPEG? And I mean, I know it comes a bit of utility, but what is it that makes you want to buy it? Is it a FOMO? Is it something else that I'm missing? I mean, I love it. I mean, I love the communities. I'm in the NFT community. I was actually in a clubhouse at the time when they launched it, and I didn't get one, so I feel very stupid now. But hopefully I'll get one down the line, or I'll catch the next project. But yeah, if any of you can answer it, what is it that draws you to these projects, or is supposedly the Bored Apes that could? We start with we'll go with Jason. Go on. And then
so I actually just went to the first ever Bored Ape meetup in LA at Venice Beach just like 3 days ago. And I'll tell you from experiencing that, that's the true value of the community. That's the true value of the Bored Ape clubs is the people that stand behind it. And all of a sudden I walked into a room full of strangers, physical strangers that I've been speaking to for months on end about all sorts of different cool parts of this project. And it made it really easy to just walk up to someone I've never seen before, but talk to constantly and just strike up a conversation of actual value, right? So we're talking about other NFT projects. We're talking about other cool things that they're up to in the world. That was one component. And the second component is that when we are online, the avatars give us a freedom to express ourselves in ways that we may not feel comfortable doing in this manner, right? So I've actually been able to connect with insanely famous people who have these avatars, also just normal people like myself, because it was no difference to me. I thought their ape looked cool, or we shared a common feature in our avatar, and that struck up a conversation. And I think that's the biggest value. Now, why would someone buy it at $10,000, $20,000, $50,000? That's a different question, right? I minted it. I don't know that I would do that at that point.
Yeah.
I paid $280 for my ape.
Okay. You know, you touched on a few things there, Jason. What I feel like that is this is the beginning of the metaverse. Like this is what's going to happen eventually. I feel is that you're going to be in the metaverse, whether it's Decentraland, you can have your avatar, whether it's your ape or something else, and you're going to be speaking to people that you don't physically see, and you're going to build a relationship online, but you're going to feel like you actually know that person. Through whatever you're linked in, whether you're going to a social club that you'll go to, or you go to the same concert or whatnot. So just saying that just made me think of that straight away. I don't know if you agree. Or any.
Well, it's interesting because like we all connect essentially, it feels like telepathically on Twitter, right? Like it's just our brains talking to each other without our physical presence. So that's what this does for us, man. Like I've spoken with Ashley many times, but I've never seen her in real presence. I've only seen the ape reflection, right? Like I've spoken to so many people like that. And it's always funny because it messes with your mind a little bit because no one ever looks like what you think they're going to look like. Like I just met up with Josh, who was one of the people who put together the meetup for the Bored Apes. And we met up for coffee last week. I walked up to a complete stranger and just said, "Hey, hi, Josh." And he looked at me so confused at 7 a.m. because I went up to the wrong person in the donut store, you know, and I turned around and Josh is behind me like, "Hey." And that's kind of the fun of it also is getting to know the person, because you get to know who they are at the essence versus like their physical almost is inconsequential.
Yeah, I agree. I could imagine how that feels. And it's just kind of a whole nother experience. Like, you know somebody online, but you meet them again and it's just a whole nother experience. What about you, Ashley?
So I feel like there's so many things that I could talk about, and I'll probably miss some of the things that I want to talk about. But, you know, I don't think I thought of myself as a collector, but I'm slowly recognizing that I probably have those tendencies now. I did not mint my apes. When I bought Becky, who was my first ape, it felt crazy. She cost me much less than what she would cost me today, but it was still a substantial amount of money. I think I paid 1.85 ETH at the time for her.
How much is that in dollars? So we can...
I would say that that's shy of, it would be around $5,000 Canadian, I think, approximately. At the time, maybe, yeah.
One question I want to ask, actually, are you a person that buys things at that price at all? Really?
I live quite modestly. I live below my means. I don't have a lot of fancy stuff. No, I don't spend my money very often. And, you know, I think leading up to this point, it was becoming slightly more comfortable and understanding where things were kind of headed. So VFriends was what introduced me. I started looking around in the environment, and I'm not a stock person either. Like, I'm in real estate. I sell real estate. I've never bought stocks. I've never traded. I've never bought crypto before. I had to set everything up. It was very overwhelming to begin with. And you know, I saw where the Bored Apes were going. When I first saw it, I was looking at some that I liked for maybe 0.55 Ethereum. And like the next day, the floor was almost at 1 ETH. And I was like, shit, I missed it. And I think what I recognized with the apes, obviously I liked the art. I thought it was cool. The community stuff, I was starting to familiarize myself with a little bit, but not by it. I didn't know then what I know now, or understand kind of how deep the community can go. And as much as I love that, I think more on a macro level, I'm really interested in being a part of something that might be really big, whether it's just the Bored Apes or NFTs in general. And I think I got a little lucky aping into something that's kind of become the standard or the gold standard of these kind of collectibles. And so, I love the fact that I own my own IP, like I own the commercial rights to my ape. So that was huge for me. I don't know that I would have done it otherwise. I had these ideas, and I have a number of ideas, and I don't know if I'll ever execute on them, but I know the next person might. But you know, I built a Twitter account around Becky, and I'm hoping one day that her presence makes her more valuable. I don't plan to sell her for a long time. But you know, I'm kind of thinking along those lines behind the scenes. And then some of the others I bought more thinking, okay, if I'm strategic about how I offer on things and buy slightly below market value, I can sell them. But it turns out I'm not a flipper because I haven't had the heart.
Just to part.
Just to part. Yeah, I have one on listed right now within a reasonable range that could sell, and it would pay for my other 3. So I feel pretty comfortable about that. And I got my 2 dogs too, so they're flying right now.
We'll definitely get into that in a minute. Kevin, like, what can you offer? What would you say from your perspective? The same thing. I know Jason and Ashley have touched on a few things, but what's your thought?
Really, really good points. And actually, I think you're doing a great job with Becky. It's definitely increasing the value of the number of the ape that is. But for me, it was like I was an artist, so I got into NFTs maybe just like 8 months ago. Just knowing that there's going to be residual income that you could create from your art collections if you're getting royalties on the secondary market. So that's up into collectibles as well. And I was on Clubhouse pretty heavy with a lot of those people. And same thing when the drop happened, you know, obviously I kind of slept on it literally. And then the next day I just decided to, you know, jump in and grab a few, knowing that again, you own the rights commercially to do remixes of them. And I was one of the first few that started doing that, doing customs for other people's apes as well, but mostly just different remixes and iterations of mine through a different perspective, through like kind of like my anime kind of different vibes on it. And started to make some pretty decent Ethereum off of that. And it was fun. People were asking me to do customs of their apes. And that's kind of what got me to buy another 2. So I did sell 2 of them pretty early, but I'm on the fence just like Ashley right now, whether I should sell 1 or 2 of them just to pay for some of the other stuff that I bought. But yeah, I think this is the future. I mean, this is a pretty early project, even though it is kind of a derivative concept of how the punks were rolled out. But, you know, the 10,000 concept, and you've seen now with how many other new products pop of that kind of showing, you know, the large number of new MetaMask wallets that have been created in the past 7 months or whatever. So all of us are kind of a part of that, and we're all learning and growing together. So it's pretty exciting. Plus the art is dope. So it's kind of hard to let one go.
Sorry, what I was going to say, what I find really interesting is the fact that you all own more than 1 ape. Like I really thought maybe you buy 1 ape and that's it. But why? I mean, that's even more money, isn't it? Like, did you buy it and then realize the value and then went to buy again, or is it just a thing?
Yeah, I bought most of mine at like the 0.5, 0.3, 0.2 range. Like the first two I bought was 0.2, and then the next day I saw it climbing more, and I saw a few more that really resonated with me, so I had to pick those up. I have 3 left right now. So I did just sell a dog the other week for like 1.6. So that I don't know how I feel about that, but I feel like I would really regret it if I sold an ape right now. But I really think I should at the same time. So who knows?
All right, so let me get into the utility side. So obviously, when you get an ape, you get access to the bathroom. Like, okay, I've never been to the bathroom. Can somebody give me some insight in regards to what's happening in the bathroom? We'll go with Ashley again. Go on.
I mean, I've only been to the bathroom a few times just to kind of check it out. That was probably the first thing I did, I guess, when I got Becky. But you literally just go into this locked space online that it just looks like a digital graffiti wall. You know, like if you go into a dive bar, you're going to see things scribbled all over the wall. And so you're able to contribute like 1 pixel at a time to help create this ever evolving, I guess, community art, public art.
Okay. All right, then. So it's actually on the wall. So everybody, or every ape that goes into there can contribute 1 pixel at a time. So it's going to be a random piece of art, I'm assuming.
It's like graffiti and mishmash of different, you know, images or words that eventually change over time. I don't know if you guys want to add anything to it. It's fun. It's not the main perk, I would say.
No, not at all. I went in there on day 1 when it was like when we were minting. I put in 1 pixel and I was like, cool, I've contributed. I'm done.
All right.
Yeah.
Because like that's like honestly, that's kind of like the silliest, most non-important part of it. But just to put a pixel on the board so that you did participate is important, I feel like contribute in every part of the community, but like that's not really important, to be honest.
Okay.
Although maybe someday Sotheby's will auction it off or something like that.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe, is it the case of that? Do they make, I mean, this is me putting something out there. Do they make
Maybe
that into an actual DAO? And then all the apes own a piece of that art and they sell it in Sotheby's or Christie's for millions, and then you all get a piece?
That'd be lovely.
Hey, I'll be a champion of that. I'll advocate that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
We should definitely do that. I mean, it was more of a novel thing in the beginning. It was kind of cool when we first didn't really know about many, 10,000 NFT projects where they had their roadmap on the website. They had this bathroom thing, kind of like a graffiti wall. But right now, I think it looks pretty cool. There's a lot of nerds like us that spend a lot of time on this and have created some pretty cool pictures on there, like Pokemon's on there and different artworks. Like, how long did these people spend on this thing?
I've seen people in chat rooms create like teams where they're like a clubhouse or they're like, all right, this is the image we're gonna make, this is the pixel you put in, and they all go and attack.
Really?
Yeah.
Whole squad.
That's how you'll get like a complete image up. More than anything, it's like a team effort, which is, honestly, it speaks to the power of the community, is that like they can create that image, and that's not easy. That's 1 pixel per allotted amount of time, and it's like, all right, that's a lot of planning and thinking, and it shows that like these aren't actually just like some tools, like these are some really creative people.
Yeah, I love that, the fact that you guys are actually like, you rep the apes, like what, like each one of you guys are doing. Like I said, you got the merch on, you got the merch, rep it. It's like, I feel like it's a part of you guys. Like, I love that out of all the communities, I feel like the apes are doing more for the NFT community. Like, don't shoot me, but that's what I can see. Like, and I can see that other apes are starting other projects on the side. So the Balls on the Block was inspired by the apes, and them guys are in that community. Like, they're doing so much things, and I'm interested to hear about what are you doing, and what plans have you got in the future for your ape in regards to commercial? Are you looking to do merch, or are you looking to music? I mean, any ideas? Just throw it out there. So we'll start with you, Jason.
Honestly, I'm building Jason the Ape because I don't know how many of you are familiar with Jenkins the Valet, but he was he's creating a narrative based on his ape. He has a common ape, and he's creating a story that's going to end up being released as an NFT. He's creating this beautiful project around it. And what he taught me as the first guest on the Boring Show was that creating value behind your ape is insanely important, because you can create value that a collector will want. Like Becky has her Bored Ape there might be someone out there who just wants to come up and further that project. So they may just offer her a tremendous amount of money. For me, building up Jason the Ape has nothing to do about money. Like, that's why I have one ape, because you only need one to be in the community.
Yeah.
For me, it's about connecting and learning about what other NFTs are out there. So like through this experience, building up this ape, we're building a value in other people. So like for me, I'm trying to give a platform to build value for other people. That's simply it. If value comes of Jason the Ape, cool. But like for real, I just want to know who's part of this community, because there's too many damn cool people out here.
Yeah, I love that, man. What about you, Ashley?
Yeah, I think we'll see. Like, I have so many ideas right now, so it really depends on whether or not I take them on and move forward with them. It's really and maybe more to Jason's point, it's like a fun hobby. It's a fun thing to be a part of, and some of my sort of entrepreneurial things I have swirling around are more out of fun versus compensation, if that makes sense. Becky, in my mind, when I got an ape, I knew I wanted a female ape because I knew there weren't going to be many of them out there present. And so I'm like, oh, maybe I can build a little I don't know, persona. And I haven't actually done that as much as I thought I would. We'll probably lean more into that moving forward. But my thought around Becky is she's kind of this like influencer type and like, yeah. So I started the idea of merch as like a joke, but people resonated with it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna actually do this. There's all these things I've always kind of thought I want to dabble in as like not a side hustle, but just something fun that, you know, you could sink your teeth into. And this has given me an easy channel to do it. Like, oh, what's it like to open up a merch store? I've never done that. I see other people online doing this. And then I'm like, oh, I got to create an idea. I got to do this. And I'm busy in my real life. And this now I have like a concrete, solid idea. I can leverage the, popularity of it. And as I think that's the thing, when you own the commercial rights, if many people do these types of things, it just ups the sort of presence and value, I would say, in general. So for me, I think the commercial utility is quite important when I'm looking at NFTs in general, although I have started to pick up a few little things here and there more as like collection stuff. I bought a curio card the other day, thinking one day that might be an important thing to have in my wallet. Yeah.
Okay. So is that, you know, the t-shirt you got at the moment, is that your merch? You designed that yourself? I
designed this. So this is like my sample. Okay. I've got some other things that I've sort of designed or whatever that I have. I've never ordered online. Like, I don't even order clothes online. So I didn't know what the quality was going to be like. I didn't want to create something that was just garbage that people would buy and it would be cheap. Like, I'm like, no, if I do something, I want them to actually want to wear it. So this came in the mail last week and I'm pretty excited about it. These are my teeth. Okay. So yeah.
That's dope.
I love that, man. I love that. Yeah. What about you, Kim? Because I see you've got a top on. I'm not sure if it's the official merch or did you design it yourself?
Yeah, no, I got this off the official drop. Thankfully, I got lucky for once. I'm an avid sneaker collector, and I always take L's, and I always lose out on those drops. And I feel like that's the hype kind of market that NFTs are kind of like built around. But also with the community, since it's more online focused, you know, we get to rep, you know, our avatars on Twitter. We pretty much are in the metaverse on Twitter and Discord, right? So I love what both of you guys are doing with yours. I haven't really focused too much on my ape Twitter account. It's KG the Ape. I haven't really built too much of a persona other than just like motivational cheesy quotes and stuff like that. But I've been doing a lot and get more artists involved, because that's really what the big perk is about, right? Finding new people to follow and connect with that are doing crazy, interesting things. And I've been blessed to be able to do some collaborations already. So I'm just going to keep carrying that forward and see where that goes. Maybe make like a movie or something like that. That would be pretty fun.
I just looked at your page and your art is dope.
Would you say?
Thanks, bro.
You looked on his page. Okay, yeah. This is one of the reasons why I messaged you. Like, all you guys are doing amazing things on your Instagrams, and I'm going to make sure I put it in, obviously, the details below so everyone can go follow. What's a secondary? What's the secondary market like for the merch? Or is there a secondary market?
Yeah, like I've been checking on eBay. I contemplated selling one of my hats because I got one of every item from the first drop, luckily.
Yeah.
I sniped it pretty quick. So I got the short sleeve t-shirt, this long sleeve shirt, and the 2 hats, a black and a red hat.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people were looking to get a hat, and some people said their transaction broke when they were trying to get it. So I think I'm going to let go of one of the hats, maybe the short sleeve t-shirt. Probably not for the same value as I've seen them being previously sold on eBay. I think the hat, the first week, I think before they even shipped, just confirmation of the red hat, one of them sold on eBay for like $2,500 or something. So it was probably like around 1 ETH. But yeah, I think I'll probably sell the hat for a few $100 to somebody. I've had a handful of people message me about it. I just been kind of contemplating looking at it, but I don't need 2 hats. I got one already. So, but
share the love.
Yeah, I'm also I'm a shoe designer. So I have a footwear brand, and like I make stuff like this. I do like bespoke design. So in the future, I'm gonna want to incorporate, maybe having exclusive access to anybody who has an ape to my web store once we relaunch it and stuff like that. But different ways of incentivizing people who have an ape right now.
Yeah. Okay. So moving forward, I'd love to hear about the dogs. Like, this is something you guys would have got free. So like, I researched it a little bit because I wasn't part of the community. Now, did they announce it? And it was, if you've seen it within this time period, you could get it. And if you didn't get it in that time period, you'd miss out. Is that right? Am I right to say that?
Yeah. Basically, I took a nap, and you guys know how fast NFT space moves. I took a nap and woke up to a bunch of DMs like, "Did you get your dog? Did you get your dog?" And I woke up like panicking. I ran to my computer, and you had to go to a specific link, and for every ape you had, you could redeem 1 dog.
Okay.
So you had a certain time frame. I actually spoke to a lot of people who didn't know that you had to redeem their dog. They thought it was just going to be airdropped, so they didn't do anything. So that's why there's not like 10,000 dogs, like, equating the 10,000 apes, right? Like, a lot of people didn't know that they had to grab them by actually redeeming them and paying for the gas.
Oh man.
So
Okay.
But most people got them though, I think. Like, when you look at I think it's in the 9,000s.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know I had
A few hundred.
I had 2 apes at the time, and you have to understand, I'm sitting here talking to my boyfriend, who I live, like my spouse, and our friends, and they're like, "You spent what on what?" And so at that time I had one of my apes listed for sale, slightly high, but within somewhat reason. And that was the day the dogs dropped. And I'm just so glad I got home and delisted my ape. And those 2 now are my forever apes. And I've kept the 2 dogs because I'm kind of liking I'm one of the few, I think, that I like the idea of the matching kind of serial numbers and see what that may mean. And I like my dogs. So, but it was tempting a few times to let go of them. It's crazy the amount of value. And by that, I just mean the ETH value you could just sold them for, and can now. They've been flying. It's tempting.
who sold their dog then? Who sold it? Go on, let it out.
My best friend just sold his dog to Captain Trippy for 17 ether, an ape, and another dog.
Wow.
He ended up getting the Trippy hat, Trippy fur combo that matched Captain Trippy perfectly. And they were able to work out a deal. So like, that's like a $50,000 trade for a free airdrop, bro. So I was doing a live stream for the Bored Kennel when Evan was going, and I was on my best friend's dog, and then I went to mine, and mine was a simple brown dog. And you can see my energy just deflate on screen because but you can't, I'm keeping it because it's matching cereal. I'm curious if they're going to airdrop us something that benefits that, or what?
What if they drop it if you've got a dog and you've got the ape and they got a match, then you can get this. So I think it's a bit of mind games, isn't it? You don't know what they're going to do next. You're not sure if to sell, to hold on to it, or like it's I can imagine, and so much money involved. I mean, I know you spent the money and so on, but it is a lot of money involved at this point. Like, things are going, like, I think the floor's at 12,000, is it, at the moment? $12,000 roughly.
Roughly, depends on the ape, more or less. But like, the floor for my Jason the ape is 10 ether, and I have 2 dogs, which I'm getting 2 ether. So that's like, $30,000 for a JPEG I paid $280 for.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild.
And I think that what's important too is, if you are looking at it as a financial situation, then the celebrities are starting to get involved now. So I know they're buying stuff. So I've seen that obviously Jay-Z's got the CryptoPunk. I think his first offer for a CryptoPunk was $300, and then he ended up buying it for like over 100K. So and then you've got Mike Tyson. He brought a cool cat. I think Mayweather brought the ball on the block. So these celebrities.
Collie Buds is a great reggae musician, and he just joined the Bored Ape. He's been talking to me about coming on the Boring Show soon, and we're going to talk Avatar to Avatar, so that'll be exciting.
And that's crazy.
He's super involved. Like I see him on IG as well as obviously Twitter as everyone else, but even on Clubhouse, like really diving deep into it.
Yeah, and I think it taps into the whole creative side. If you got that side to you, I mean, I love things like these collectors. I play games and stuff like that, and there's a lot of people who are going to relate in that way and connect in some way. So everyone's got a little kid in them. I feel it's bringing out the little child in you to have something valuable, and you can make money. You know, it's a win-win.
It's really fun, honestly.
I would agree. It's crazy to think just how early on this really is, and we don't know where it'll go. Right? There's always risk. You could lose potentially value or whatever, but it's pretty cool to think there's not even 5,000 owners of this particular collection right now.
Now, what I want to know is, do you guys collect any other NFT, obviously collectibles or whatnot, NFTs, or you just sticking to, are you just solely apes? Or you're a bit of a mixing it up? Are you collecting any, Kevin? Anything apart from
I dabbled a few and then a few projects that were, not doing so great now, but one thing I did do pretty well on was the Wicked Craniums. When that dropped, I luckily minted a handful of them from my friend giving me a heads up. I thought the art was really dope as well. They have a kind of a different aesthetic to it, and the community is pretty strong on Discord for the Wicked Cranium. So I'm still holding on to a few of those that have been getting bids recently, since I think they made an announcement on their first airdrop as well. So we'll see how they handle that. The Bored Apes have executed flawlessly on the first drop and flawlessly again on the Bored Ape Kennel Club. So we'll see. It's hard to follow that up, but yeah, I'm pretty excited for that one. We'll see.
Okay, what about you, Jason? Anything? What are you?
Yeah, man, I collect everything. I've been teaching people for a long time about the Wax blockchain. Yeah. I'm a big fan of that. I've got 47 metaverse plots in the Uplift world. So like I have a community plot there, so I have a lot of people building fun stuff. I love anything metaverse, man. So I'm trying to get as many lands as I can in every platform. I actually traded an ape for 2 sandbox plots. I trade a lot of NFTs. That's kind of my favorite thing to do, is like, I don't want to pay money. I just want to trade and kind of like see what I can get for things. So like, I jokingly posted, if someone wants to trade me a house for Jason the Ape, I'm open to that conversation. And people joke, but like, I genuinely think this thing will go for like 250, 300,000 at some point. And I say that with a super serious face, So like, of course I picked up a cranium. I pick up everything I can. If I don't understand it, I'll try to buy at least one.
Okay.
Yeah, just in case.
Yeah, I don't want to miss out. And for like $200, $300, you start to do a slow roll once you flip something. Like I wanted a pink dog to match my ape. So I minted 18 famous lady squads, sold 10 of them, and was able to buy a pink dog for 1 ether. The next day, it seemed like it went up to 2 ether. And, it's just, that's how it seems to be in this space right now. So not financial advice, but like once you start to roll, it's a lot easier to play.
So you playing with profit at the moment, because you want to make it clear, like obviously you're not just throwing all your money into it. You've gone in there, you're up. And
I pulled all my investment out in 2017, and everything I've been playing with in crypto is house money since.
Okay. All right.
That's what I've always taught people, is like, you put in your initial investment, as soon as it goes up, you take out that whole chunk, everything on the table is free money. And that comes from being a poker player. Like, that's how I've always played my games, bro. So blackjack, poker, that's what I cut my teeth on. NFTs are no different. It's gambling. Like, you can't tell me otherwise. It is 100% gambling.
Strategic gambling to a certain extent. You can try and be strategic based on what you see. But yeah, it is a gamble, because tomorrow the prices could drop of the apes, and then
there could be a rug pull and then there's no value. You know what I mean? So like, we don't know. We're putting a lot of faith into complete strangers, but there's a lot of fun and potential value, and the community resonates. So it's tempting, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, true. I agree. What about you, Ashley?
In terms of other projects, other collections? Projects, yeah. So my first purchase was a VFriend. I have four of those now, and I'm kind of thinking I'm going to work. It's a little different. It's not the same type of collectible as the others, right? And it's more the first real, like in real life utility thing. So I'm curious to see where that goes.
Which ones have you got? So just which refriends have you? You said you got 4.
I have 4. So I bought
Exactly
2. I bought 2 from the website. Like I guess they're minted. So I have a very rare daring dragonfly, and I have a gold spectacular profound possum. I got in basically like the next day they all sold out. It took me a while to get my Ethereum and be able to buy that and everything with my bank and stuff. I had some challenges. So anyways, and then I picked up a couple rares early on in the secondary market. So that's what I've got, but we'll see. I definitely want to keep 1 or 2 of them for the long haul. And I might sell a couple around the Gary V's conference. We'll give it a go. Yeah, it's a bit early to sell them, I think, unless you're trading. So, and then obviously the apes and the dogs now, and the only other one I've really done much with is also the Fame Lady squad. I think the stuff is really cool. It was the first time I really got into a project and bought it minted, and bought like a small little collection early on. We'll see where it goes, but I do like it. I've kind of been very cautious with most of the others. I might go in and pick up 1 or whatever, just if I can get it at a reasonable price that I like, if I think, it's doing okay. But I've probably put more money in than I would have expected, like more upfront, but slowly, and as I've learned and as I've felt comfortable, and now the idea is to play with house money. We'll see how it goes.
What I want to take from you guys, what I think is, because you're in the community, you've got the ape, you're part of one of the hottest communities out there at the moment. You're experiencing it here as it happens. What advice would you give to somebody that wants to obviously come into the space, whether they're a collector or a creator, from your experience? So nothing too long, just a small piece of advice. We'll start with Jason.
Don't be overwhelmed. It sounds scarier than it is.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair enough to say. I think it's obviously, but it's a lot going on. But
yeah, like it sounds really intense and really scary. You hear numbers associated and stuff. Like, do a little research, pick one that you like, find someone that you trust, ask them the questions that you want, and if you feel comfortable, buy it. That's it.
Okay, straightforward and simple. I love that. Kevin, what would you give peace with?
Yeah, I love that, man. I'm gonna have to retweet that one. Keep it simple, man. Like, find someone that you trust, maybe 1 or 2 people that you have done research on and feel like their moves are something that you want to follow, and just, not just blindly follow them. Obviously follow your gut, but take their advice and don't listen to all the noise. There's going to be so much people saying this and that, pumping their own bags for whatever projects they bought into, right? So just find 1 or 2 people that you trust, and then after that, you hear their opinion, just trust your gut at the end of the day.
Right, and
in terms of how many you're going to buy, that is.
Okay.
Yeah, start slow. I think spend some time watching, listening, get into Discord channels. I think you learn a lot in there. You can see kind of who's saying what, and you might learn early on whether or not you're a flipper type or not, because I think in the Discord channels you can get a sense of, is this a flipping project or is this something that people really believe in? So listen, start slow, and only spend what you can afford to lose.
All right. Okay. And now I'm going to work backwards and say that, and this is probably going to be the case for everybody. What do you say to the people that don't understand NFTs or what you're doing, saying you're spending $5,000 or this much money on a JPEG, as they would say? What would you say to somebody that's been a bit negative towards you? Start with Ashley. We'll go backwards.
I'm just not that interested in convincing people. So I kind of tell them why I think it's fun and why I'm into it. I kind of feel like it's an inside joke right now, and the punchline's going to be a few years out. And so I'm ready for that. Yeah, I mean, the people around me, I show them a little bit, and when they fire back, I just laugh and let it go.
Yeah, I love that piece of advice. You don't need to rise to, you don't need to prove to anybody else. Just do what you do and enjoy it. You got your community. So that's amazing. What would you say, Kevin?
Yeah, I think all of us here have that general understanding, right? That's probably why you hit the follow button pretty quick on Twitter if you see that they have a cool avatar or something like that. Because when you do speak to somebody, you know, that's living the normal life, not really paying attention to this, or just know what they've seen on the news, it's kind of an absurd joke, right? It is an inside joke. So I'm not worried. Usually I keep it short, like, you know, you guys are sleeping on this, but hey, we'll talk next year. You know, it's not really, it's not if you're going to get in, it's like when you're going to get in on something. So like I think it is really, really early. It might take a little bit of more time for that bell curve to kind of progress into the masses, but hey, for right now it's kind of underground and I like that. It's fun. Like that's the whole point of it, right?
What about you, Jason?
I don't have the time to waste on people who don't want to hear it. Like, that's really it, bro. At the end of the day, there's too many people who want to learn. So you basically start with a sentence and you see how receptive they are. And if they're not into it, hey, cool, there's other things that you're into that's not for you yet, right? Maybe they just didn't hear it at the right time that resonates. Because I've had friends that they come back to you a year later. Hey, I heard about this project. Would you teach me now? Okay, cool. So you plant the seed, let them stew on it. They'll hear popular culture, kind of reference it a bit. And then they come back to you like 99% of the time.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's no time to waste. There's people on, like you said, on Twitter that have similar thought processes. I want to learn what else is out there. There's just no time.
Yeah. I will get cheeky though. I have to add, I'll get cheeky from time. And again, it's just very tight circle stuff. Yeah. But, you know, if there's a banger sale of an ape or a dog, I'll send the link to my buddies just to, and, or if there's some, like a, you know, news coverage or there's celebrity, like, you know, we know that Ashton Kutcher, and them are putting something forward. So I just send these to them just so they can see it's rising into the popular culture and so they can decide when they care to learn more.
That's awesome.
All right. So, where do you see the NFT space going? Like, what excites you the most? Okay, we got the collector's part, but NFTs is a lot more than a piece of art or collectors. There's music, there's tickets, there's other industries. So what excites you the most at this point, or what you're looking forward to seeing in the future? We'll start with Kevin.
I'm looking forward to getting my admission to the IRL Bored Ape Yacht Club with a bunch of yachts and a yacht slip for all of us to party at, you know. I feel like that's going to be in our near future, probably not too far away. Yeah, just any like more physical activations like the LA meetup that you guys were at. Like, I wish I was there. I was able to go to Miami for the Bitcoin conference, and that was really cool. I met a couple people that were Bored Apes there, only because I ran into one person who was dressed up as his ape. He had like the pointy hat and everything, like the brown leather vest and whatever, but and the eye patch. So I was like, oh, this guy's an ape. And then he had the ape mask after as well. So it's pretty cool. But more physical stuff that you can just like meet each other, shake each other's hand, say what's up, shoot the shit, and just realize, yeah, we're all just other human beings. It's just nerding out to the same stuff.
All right, that's cool. All right. So what about you, Jason? What about industry wise?
You know, to be honest with you, I think of like, I'm of that age where like I didn't have the internet when I grew up, and now I do. And I've seen it. And I worked at Apple for a really long time, teaching kids how to use computers. So the thing I'm excited about NFTs the most are the things that we can't even imagine yet, because these 10-year-old, 12-year-olds are coming up with them right now. Like if you look at that 12-year-old who just released that whale NFT project, that's the thing I'm excited about the most. Is that there's children out there that are selling art to adults that are going to redefine finances through their happy, creative projects, whatever it may be, utility, art, whatever. And that's really like seeing the introduction of youth to NFTs without them knowing what they're doing, like being part of the blockchain. That's what I'm excited for the most, man.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's going to be reflected a lot in gaming too. I mean, I always say that I'm really jealous of the kids now, because I spent hours playing games and I didn't earn a penny, but I feel like in the future.
Well, a lot of my kids, a lot of my best friends, I'm at the age where all of them are having kids, and I'm reminding them, please start minting your children's art. Because think about it like this. If you could buy Pablo Picasso's childhood scribbles, imagine the value that would be, right? You don't know if your child's going to end up being somebody of value in that way. But not only that, I moved around a lot as a kid. I don't have any of my art from when I was a child. I found it recently and it was like destroyed and all tattered. And I just think like, that would have been amazing if my parent had that foresight to mint my childhood scribbles for me. And so like, I'm telling everybody who's having a kid, start doing that. Imagine in 10 years how cool that'll be to look back.
Yeah. Yeah, even just to look back at for yourself. I mean, regardless if it sells or anything, just that having that memory on the blockchain, isn't it?
It's for the memories, not for the money, man.
Yeah. Okay. Ashley.
Yeah, that's, I love those ideas, Jason. That's awesome. That said, I do think it's from the art side. I think it's really neat that this will open up doors for many who maybe wouldn't have had access to any sort of real world success. So whether they're from less privileged communities, like they do need access to the technology, obviously. But, you know, I'm excited to see folks who come from areas that would never have had the opportunities that they have now. So that's going to be really neat, and to be able to share that art and to see it and to be, you know, be able to appreciate it as well. And then I think more for me on the utility side and the business side, I'm just really excited to see how people get innovative with NFTs, how they decide to use them. And again, it's not necessarily for investment, but for how you can streamline things, how you can make things more transparent, how you can make things more accessible, or even, you know, just the idea of tickets to an event and you get to keep it and it's a memorabilia, something for you. Like I think, as Jason's saying, we don't know what's around the corner, but I think it's really neat to be a part of the evolution and to have seen it from fairly early on. And, you know, I've got my eyes open now to, you know, what else do I want to do with my career? That's definitely a different trajectory than it was 6 months ago. So
That's the amazing thing. That's what I love about this space, is the fact that it is, I mean, you've been in the space for a while, Jason, but it is early in regards to what's happening with NFTs, and there's so much opportunity. And I feel like it's conversations like these, it's people like ourselves are going to be at the forefront of all of this. Like I get that feeling. I grew up without the internet too, and I feel like I missed out on capitalizing on the internet. I grew up during, obviously, social media. I didn't really capitalize on that. But I feel like this is really a transition in the way the world is going to run. Like, regardless, it's just it just makes sense. And we're at the early stages where all the corporate companies, I know that we don't want to be corporate, but eventually these big companies are going to get involved. And that's where I think the mass adoption is going to happen, is when these big companies get involved and people have to do things on the blockchain, or they may not even know they're doing it on the blockchain, then they'll be doing it. So yeah, I'm really excited. So I'm like I said, happy to have you guys on. Like I said, is there anything you want to leave? I think with Jason, anything positive you want to say? You've got a podcast show. Anything you want to leave our guests with? Anything positive about NFTs with your experience and knowledge?
Or just shout out The Boring Show. Go to theBoringshow.io. If you guys want to come on the show and you have an avatar, any avatar is welcome. I've recorded 10 episodes so far that I've posted. I've got 15 more I'm editing. And it's open to anyone with an avatar. So theBoringshow.io, check it out.
Make sure you go check that out, guys. Ashley, anything positive you want to leave it with?
I would just say, if this piques your interest at all, just dive into the online communities to learn. The cool thing about being so early is there's not a lot of experts. There's people who know more than you that you can learn from, but there's no dumb questions at this stage. So I just think it's a cool time to get involved. And yeah, find me at I am Boredbecky, and this influencer is gonna take it to the next level pretty quick. So I'll plug myself too.
And Kevin, ending with yourself, just leaving on a positive note. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, NFTs in general have changed my life, and I know for right now, art and collectibles and gaming is starting to become the thing. But these are really just the forefront things that are pushing this along for everything else to kind of be incorporated within this transaction method and within this avenue of value creation, right? So I'm just pumped. You know, I was able to quit my sales job like a couple of weeks ago and just go full-time degenerate into creating NFTs and an artist, and also like collecting and trading as I go, as I've been able to stumble upon great people to kind of guide me. So yeah, I think it's for everybody in any industry at every level, right? Even if you are from, you know, marginalized communities and minority backgrounds. So like, I'm pretty excited for the future, especially for the kids.
Yeah, and that's a great note to end it on. So guys, thank you for your time today. It's been amazing spending some time with some apes. I actually feel a little bit part of the community now. I'm gonna have to go try and get one to make sure to get fully in there, but at least I've got a little feel for it. So Thank you for listening, guys.